So in the last couple of weeks, I've been getting into the WNBA due to the Caitlin Clark effect. I first heard about Clark last year with the whole injuries incident, and I do believe that was the pivotal moment for the women's basketball, because I think at that point, drama was created. People want drama. People want stories. And those were created after that incident. I know some people try to put Reese in the back burner, saying that she has no effect with this, but she does. She does. And to be honest, some part of me understands why some of these WNBA players may hate her. Like, for example, Diana Taurasi. I'm not really sure whether she was hating, but it sounded like hate. But even if it was hate, I don't understand it, because she's an athlete. She may look at Caitlin Clark and be like, I mean, she's not that special. I'm better than her. I'm more rounded. I'm whatever. You may disagree. That is fine. But I'm just saying that is how she may feel. And she may think, like, why didn't I have all this fanfare? Why didn't I have all this adoration? You know? So I'm not really, like, against, these women, showing some, that kind of a thing. I actually think it could even drive some viewership, because the game between the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever is going to be hot, because we're going to be trying to look forward to see if Clark will be able to drop 30 on a 40-year-old ass. I'm personally looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, I think these women have to realize what this moment is. They have to realize that this is the moment that their sport could change for the better forever. They have to realize that this could be it. So even though you may feel that way, say it with your friends, say it in your house, in your rooms, whatever. But say it in public, I mean, I don't know. They have the right to say whatever they want to say, but you have to consider the long view. Take the long view with this. That's just my opinion. Anyway, let's get into this one. The WNBA players hating on Caitlin Clark compilation.
The rematch between Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in the NCAA tournament drew over 12 million viewers. With this growing success of women's college basketball, WNBA players and media have started to hate on college players, in particular Iowa's Caitlin Clark, with articles being written such as "Make basketball black again" in response to her large fan base. In this video,
I did hear about that. I heard about that. This absolutely ridiculous article. Like, could you imagine if this was written about a black player? I don't understand. There's this notion in the West that, you can't be racist towards a white person because they supposedly have power. That is just a very ridiculous statement to me, but that is just me. I just don't understand it. Maybe I'm naive, but and this was written by a white person. All these virtue signaling white liberals, they're just the worst. They're just the worst. Out here trying to virtue signal, I'm one of the good ones, Look at me, I'm one of the good ones. Ridiculous.
We're going to look at WNBA players and the media hating on Caitlin Clark. Let's get started.
What do you think about Ice Cube and the Big Three offering Caitlin Clark $5 million to play in their league?
Well, I have a lot of thoughts. But the first one is, so you offered the contract to a player who's not yet even in the WNBA. Big Three does not happen during overseas season, so that doesn't make sense.
That's true.
And
that
then,
one is true.
For us to get, just constantly shit on, you can't even acknowledge the growth and how amazing the WNBA is doing because shit like this happens.
When
you didn't even have to bring up the W. If you're going to say that it's for that, then stand on that. But I don't think it's, I think he's trying to make a business decision, which he's a businessman, that makes sense. But to mask it in this, I want to uplift and support WNBA players and women athletes is kind of a cop-out, I think, and I don't think...
I actually do agree with her. Funny enough, I actually do. I think that Ice Cube offer was kind of a funny offer, to be honest with you. I mean, if he just came out and said, look, I'm trying to make money here, my league is failing. Obviously, he's not going to say that, but I'm just, I'm just paraphrasing here. She's going to bring lots of money into our league and whatever. But sitting down here and acting like, you're trying to help the women's game by giving only Caitlin Clark $5 million, I'm really not sure how that helps. And her going to the Big Three and going to play against some 40-year-old retired NBA players, I think that would be bad. I like Caitlin Clark. I think she shoots incredibly well. By the end of the day, she's a woman. going to play against a bunch of men that will be angry. Because from what I heard, these guys only get paid 10K to play per match. And Clark will come in there and be earning 5 million. I mean, they will hate her. They'll probably, man, like, I can't even imagine what they would do. So, like, let me not even get into it. But I just don't think, I think it was a phony deal, but whatever.
Really makes any sense.
Right away, we have Lexi Brown hating on Caitlin Clark's $5 million offer from Ice Cube to join the Big Three. Just like we have talked about in previous videos, the best doesn't always get paid the most. Caitlin Clark got that huge offer because she brings in a massive audience that no one in the WNBA could bring in. Not only is Clark a very skilled basketball player, but she's also very entertaining to watch. And that's why Ice Cube would make such a large offer.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So
say things that are factual. But if you start throwing out lies all over the place, clearly you are hating because you are not being rational.
Caitlin Clark is the all-time. So is it truly a broken record? Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be. Let's also talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20-year-old. Like, you should be killing them. Because you've been doing it a lot longer than they have. Clark right now probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Arenas. That's the kind of thing you would like to do. Wow, this lady is ridiculous. Jesus Christ. I heard about the 40 shots a game, and I heard about the COVID year thing, but I didn't hear about this. Wow. A 25-year-old. Really? Oh, shit. I mean, I know some people were saying that she was not hating, but that's clearly hating. That is clearly hating. Clearly.
Carry on.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
Cheryl Swoops told 3 big lies in her statements about Caitlin Clark. The first is how many years she played college basketball, implying that she played 5 years because of COVID. In reality, she's played 4, just like Kelsey Plum, and she even broke the record in less games. The second lie is how many shots a game Caitlin Clark takes, saying she takes 40 shots a game. Over the course of her career, Clark has only shot 19 shots a game, which is less than half of what Swoops said. And finally, Swoops said that Caitlin Clark is 25 years old, when in reality, she's only 22. Cheryl would then make a response after being called out for lying.
I'm gonna say this, and then I wanna be done with this whole conversation. So for people to come at me and say that I made those comments because I'm a racist, like, first of all, black people can't be racist, but like, that's the far.
Oh, man. Wow. That has always been the most hilarious statement I've always ever heard in my life. When black people say I'm black, so I can't be racist. So funny. I don't know about you guys, but I know these days academics are more of politicians these days instead of actually being academics. So maybe they'll probably change the definition of racism in the dictionary. But last I checked, the definition is if you discriminate someone or whatever based on their color. So someone could say you are black, and the reason why you are saying that about Caitlin Clark is because she's white. That if she were black, you wouldn't have said that. You wouldn't have. First of all, you would have been praising her. That is the first thing. Secondly, you wouldn't have had to lie and bring up all these fake stats and fake ages and fake whatever that you were saying just to try and make your points. If she were black, that's just a fact. So sitting down there and saying, black people can't be racist, so it couldn't have been racism. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And I do know that liberal and progressive professors in the US or in the West have tried to change the definition of racism to if you have to have power before you are racist. Well, I don't know what to tell you at the end of the day. I don't know how this, like, I have someone that went to school in the United States. So he told me all these things. I already know about the fact that professors in the US, majority of them are basically activists, not educators, basically activists.
This thing from my mind. Like, I grew up in a very small West Texas town, predominantly white. My best childhood friend is white. So it's important for me.
Is that not the same thing that black people always say when they accuse a white person of being racist? And the white person will be like, I have a black friend. And they'll be like, black friend? Is that the same thing that she's doing here? She's like, my best childhood friend is white, so I can't be racist. I mean, come on, man. Come on.
That I speak up for people that look like me. Like, it's Black History Month. So.
And that is fair. As long as you say the truth and as long as you speak facts. Don't lie. You know? You don't have to lie. That is fine. If you want to be an activist for people of color, great. I have no issues with that. But don't be out here having to lie and having to, put out fake stats just because you are trying to make a point. Seriously.
Like, our ancestors fought and died for us to have opportunities that we have today. I have, like, no issues with Caitlin. Her breaking the record, I think, obviously is a tremendous accomplishment. Although, we could get into that discussion also, because there was a big debate on Lynette Woodard having the actual record.
I'm not really sure what any...
First of all, she didn't really say anything about what she said. She didn't even address it. She just beat around the bush. I am not racist, I am black, and all that kind of a thing. She didn't actually address the fact that she lied about 3 things about Caitlin Clark. She didn't do that. She just beat around the bush and blah, 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 blah.
If that had to do with her lying, and I like how she still insists that Caitlin Clark shouldn't have the record she legitimately broke. I know she hasn't played in the WNBA, but our last hater is Jamel Hill.
Shit.
During an interview, Jamel Hill made multiple claims against Clark, saying that the women's basketball audience would be growing with or without Clark. Also mentioning that Clark is only getting so much attention because she's white.
That the criticism is often very one-sided. Caitlin Clark talks her shit. Caitlin Clark is demonstrative. Caitlin Clark, people aren't bothered by that. People aren't bothered by it because they're caught up in the narrative of, oh, here's this, wonderful, kind soul from the great state of Iowa representing middle America. So they put all these sort of, what happens in these sports race wars is everybody projects their own shit on the people coming.
All of this hate going towards Caitlin Clark from the WNBA doesn't...
That lady is absolutely the worst. She's absolutely the worst. I am sitting down here in Nigeria and I've been seeing so many things that this lady has said. She's absolutely insane. Seriously. And I don't think she's stupid. I'm sure she's a smart lady. I just feel she's a bit emotional about this whole race thing. And maybe it comes from a good place, because at the end of the day, we all have to acknowledge the fact that black people were slaves for almost 400 years in the United States, or over 400 years. So there's obviously some trauma there, passed down trauma. It's a fact. Passed down trauma is real. So I do understand maybe she's just a bit emotional when it comes to all this race, because everything about her always has to end in race. This last lady, everything I've seen of her online is always about race. I'm like, how can you live life like this? It must be such a miserable life. It must be. And sometimes I just look at her, I'm like, I just feel sorry. I just feel sorry for her, because it may not even really be her fault. It could just be the fact that maybe how she grew up, or how maybe she just... and maybe passed down trauma. Like I'm saying, like it's legit. It's a thing. I've read about it. It's actually a thing. Now you could tell me, look, you read about it. A professor actually did this research. probably a woke professor. I don't know, but I've read it not just on one particular article or publication. I read it in so many publications from different sources that passed down trauma is actually a thing. So I wouldn't really blame her to an extent, but I just look at her sometimes and I just feel sorry for her because it just seems like her whole life revolves around race. It must be such a miserable life. Seriously.
Make any sense. WNBA players and the media have been complaining about lack of pay and a small audience forever now. So why would you hate on the biggest prospect of all time? She has the potential to completely change the WNBA. They could make
let me be real. Like I said at the beginning, I understand where Diana Taurasi was coming from. I understand it perfectly. I know some people just didn't want to hear it, but she's a human being. She's allowed to feel that kind of way if she feels like she's better than her and she should have gotten this adoration that Caitlin Clark has. I'm fine with that. But even if I were her, okay, I know she's almost retiring, but I'm sure if the WNBA starts making money, they will pay ex-players pensions the way NBA does. So she wants to benefit. So if I were her, even though I feel this way, I wouldn't say it. I will try to champion her as much as I can to try and make this league to be profitable to a point where even though I retire, I'll still be able to get pension. You know? That's what I would do. That is just me. Even though I may feel that way, I may discuss it with my friends in private, but I wouldn't say it in public. That's just how I see it. So I really don't understand these women, to be honest. I really don't understand them.
Millions from this, but instead, they allow their jealousy to get in the way and complain about the biggest prospect the WNBA has ever seen. It doesn't matter what her skin color is. All that matters is how good she is at basketball and how entertaining she is for the fans. That right there is enough to change the league.
Wow. Well, I do hope that there's something that I saw on ESPN. Rebecca Lobo, I think that is her name. She was also a former WNBA player. And she did say that the WNBA players should, be very careful. That this is a point where it's very, very critical. It's very, very vital for the league, for the future of the league. And obviously that they should compete with Caitlin Clark. Not, it's not like she was saying that they should just let her to score. Compete. But hard fouls, hating on her, you shouldn't do that. Because if she succeeds, the rest of you succeed. She said this. And I do hope other WNBA players also feel this way. Even though they may feel some kind of disdain for Caitlin Clark in private, because I'm not really blaming anybody for feeling that way. They're all human beings. I understand how someone could feel like they could look at her like, she's not that special. Why is she having all this? Why is she getting all this? Especially with the money that she's earning. I could understand that, but don't say it in public. Try and champion her. Try and help your leagues be profitable so they can make money, so they can stop complaining. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.